You know, it doesn't seem to matter what kind of page you go on to. If you go on a Traxxas page, they all hate Armas. You go on the Arma page, they all hate Traxxas. You go onto a Losi page, and well, half the guys love everything, and the other half of guys hate everything else. But you know, and yeah, of course, there's other brands out there, but let's just focus on the big three for now. See which one is the best, which one is the worst, in your opinion. So, like the video title states, uh, who's the best? Who's the worst? I don't know. I like all the brands really, but I guess it'd probably be easiest just to do a quick rundown and let you guys decide who's the best, who's the worst. So, this is my Arma Felony. This car had a bad ESC right out of the box. It moved about 2 feet, and then that was it. ESC failed. And then shortly after, I went ahead and converted it to a Firma 160 system right away. I figured, forget it, I wasn't gonna mess with the 150 system, so I converted that to a Firma 160, and then the servo went out shortly afterwards. And as far as breakages, I can't really fault the car because all of its breakages had happened well over 90 miles per hour hitting concrete stuff. So, yeah, it's broken some control arms and it's bent the chassis and bent the backbone, but that's purely driver error. That's 100% my fault. I can't fault the car for that. The infraction. Let's see, the infraction has only blown the center diff. And again, I can't fault the car for that. That was me doing a long burnout, trying to get the tires to pop, and just held it for too long and melted the center diff. So that one is on me. As far as other parts that I've broken on it, I don't think there are any. I don't think I've broken anything on this truck. Traxxas Raptor R, awesome truck. Never broke anything on that truck. I have beat the living crud out of it, and it's never broken anything. I do have a complaint, though. It should have came with cooling fans from the factory, but even with cooling fans, it will still thermal pretty regularly on a day that's above 80 degrees. Great truck, very robust, never breaks anything. It needs better cooling. Losi laser nut. This one, on its very first drive, one of the rear links to this day, I still can't figure out how it happened. One of the rear links, the adjustable plastic part, just slid down the metal arm, and I just couldn't figure it out because the buggy hadn't been in any accidents, didn't flip, didn't hit anything, nothing. It just, for whatever reason, it decided to break. I fixed that part, and I have played a lot with this thing, and it has been rock solid since then. Even though it's a notoriously unreliable vehicle by others, to me, it did just break that one part, and I don't know why. The Outcast 4S. That thing is a little battle tank. It's been to the skate park many times. It's been to a monster truck show where it got to drive with real monster trucks. And let's see, what have I broken? I haven't broken anything. Oh, I take that back. The battery straps. At the skate park, the battery straps broke. It is not a very good design on the factory straps, but threw some Apex straps in it. It was great. This thing's never blown a tire, never had a problem. Servo saver is kind of junky though. This is the Traxxas Max, Wide Max. I bought this thing the day they came out. So this is my oldest truck in my current fleet. And it's blown some tires. I have broken a couple axle shafts, so I upgraded it to the HD ones. I do run slightly smaller tires up front just to help it get better traction. And it is on body number 3. But other than that, boy, this thing has taken an absolute thrashing and just goes and goes and goes. This is the go-to rig that comes with me if I'm going out with a bunch of friends that have kids, because inevitably they'll break one of their vehicles. And I just hand them the remote for this truck and say, hey, go for it. I don't even care. I never have to worry about that thing. The Mojave 4S to be specific. This truck, nice truck, great driving truck. Out of the box, it did have a bad receiver though. So, point against it for that. Fortunately, I've got a great dealer, so he sent me a new receiver. I had a new one within 3 days, and the truck's been rock solid since then. These things are, these are bricks of trucks. Very, very solid. And I haven't ever seen anybody else have a receiver problem with one, so I think it was just my luck. Little FMS, that's my wife's truck. It never gets driven, so I honestly couldn't tell you. And then I got the TRX4M High Trail. That thing, it's never broken anything, never had a problem. I did do the upgrades pretty quickly on it. But yeah, I can't think of that truck ever breaking anything. Same thing with the SCX24. It's never broken anything. And then the Defender TRX4M. I did a bunch of upgrades to it, and the only thing it ever broke was the 2-in-1 ESC, and that was just due to the servo. Company had sent me a prototype servo, and it had fried that 2-in-1 because, well, I don't know what was wrong with that servo, but I pulled that back out, and it's been fine ever since. Then that moves us to the Losi Mini B brushless. Again, I don't think this thing has ever broken anything. I know I've popped these links a couple of times, but it's never broken anything. Which then moves us over to the Fire Team. This guy, I really like this truck, despite, let's see, 4, maybe 5 front control arms. Front shocks. Oh, and the motor shaft snapped in half one day. It's out of the blue. It was just driving across some relatively rough surface, not big boulders or anything, but gravel surface, and it was just going along, and then all of a sudden, boom, that the shaft snapped. Other than that, it's been a really, really great truck. I'm really amazed how well the tires hold up. I wish they made all the tires like that. Then we go to the Traxxas UDR. I love this truck, and I hate it. It looks really cool. It drives really nice. But this thing has well over $1,000 in Vidavon upgrades on it to make it reliable. This thing used to break every single time it went out, and now it doesn't, but that's a lot of money to spend to make a truck reliable. Then we have the Super Baja Ray. This is probably my most favorite truck in the fleet. It has never broken anything other than I have blown 2 front tires, so both of those tires have been blown on it. But I've got this thing geared up. It never gives up. It never does anything weird. It's like my go-to reliable truck. This thing is just a brick. Then we've got the DBXLE. Again, another truck I really, really like. I've blown a few of its stock tires, so I ended up going with the Badlands. And I did turn up the brake rate a little bit too high, so I did crunchy the front differential, but it's been replaced with
with Vidavon parts, and its servo did fail as well, and it's got just the I think the high-tech servo is what I put on that. But that's all that's ever happened with this truck, and this truck has been heavily abused, and I'm amazed at how durable it is. Then we have the Traxxas XRT. This truck, its maiden voyage, I slammed it into a concrete barrier at absolute flank speed, and it broke one control arm, and it put a big gouge in the belly pan. So that was completely my fault. So I replaced those parts. And then two of the tires mysteriously lost the foam. Truck has never been driven in water, ever. And just the foam just completely disappeared from two of the tires. So again, it got the same tires as him because I know they can stand up to the power. They could stand up to the weight. So it's a good truck though. This thing again, much like him, was brought to the Monster Truck Show, and it jumped over monster trucks. It did all kinds of tricks. This thing caught some major altitude and had some majorly bad landings because it was just so far up there. But it hasn't broken anything other than, like I said, that control arm and belly pan from when I hit that concrete barrier. But something this size doing 50 miles per hour hitting a concrete barrier, you can't really complain about that. But that truck's been actually very surprisingly good.
Then we go over to the Promotos. Promotos, they haven't had any normal failures. Nothing defective, nothing bad on them. I never had to replace the servos or motors or anything like that. The green one, I did bash into a set of steps pretty bad, which is why he got completely rebuilt because it hurt the forks, it bent the front wheel. I broke its little plate here, so he got the full treatment. This one never broke anything on it. I just wanted to do the treatment to it because I thought it looked cool. Rest of this stuff, that little guy, he's never had any problems. I can't even remember what brand vehicle that thing is, but it's been solid. That little Voltaire, he's been good too. And moving along, we got the Losi drag truck. This truck has never had any problems, but it's because I never drive it. So one of these days, I hope to get into that. Then we got the Bog Hog. That thing is a blast. It's never had any problems. I've never broken anything on it. It's been as solid as can be. Then we got the Traxxas VXL3 Fiesta. That thing has never broken anything, never given me a problem. That one has also never broken anything or given me a problem, but I've only driven it through one full battery pack because that was a giveaway car. The Sen Puma. Terrible radio system in it. Very fragile wheels as well. Good car otherwise. I think I've broken a couple body posts on it, and I did blow one of the rear axles just under normal driving, which I thought was weird, but it's a fun car now that I put a Spectrum receiver in there with AVC, and now that I've fixed the axle. TRX4 High Trail. That thing has never broken anything. So, yeah. Water Buffalo, that one doesn't really count because that is a tribute truck. It's a shelf queen. It does not get driven. And we move on to the Traxxas M41 boat. Thermal. This thing has thermal issues. So I've put a windshield washer pump motor into it to keep water flowing and put a dual pickup in it. And I haven't really played with it since I've done that. So I've got to take it out and do that. Traxxas Fortec. He doesn't really count either. He was bought just to be towed behind the TRX4. It hasn't had anything defective in it, and I haven't broken anything in it because I haven't driven it. Traxxas sprint car. This one, well, not this one, but the first one did arrive with this part broken. So very next day they had a replacement sent out to me, and again, that truck's only been out for a couple drives, so our not truck, but sprint car's only been out for a couple drives, so of course that's not really going to break anything. And that brings us to the most controversial vehicle in my entire fleet, the Traxxas Max Slash. Some people love it. Some people hate it. It's a very polarizing truck. For me, I'm definitely on the love it side. It has never broken anything. It has never given me a problem. I've beaten the ever-living heck out of this thing, sent it to the moon. It's just been a rock. As has Arrma Traxxas. This little thing is absolutely rock solid. It's never had any issues. It's never broken anything. And then we got the Creighton 6S EXB, the latest version. Yeah, I know that it's not the right body. The body should have red lettering. And I do have that, its original body sitting on the shelf somewhere. It got beat up pretty bad. This thing, I don't know about this truck. I've been through 8 control arms, 2 wing mounts, 1 wing, 2 bodies, 2 shocks. It's on its 3rd set of tires, and it hasn't been driven anywhere near as much as him or even him. So when it works, it's great, but it very often does not work. And then we got the Super Rock Ray. He's one of the newer additions to the fleet, despite it being an older vehicle. And this thing has only broken the front steering knuckles, which is a common problem with them. And seeing the design, I can see how they're easily breakable. So I've replaced it with the aluminum ones from Losi, and I've bashed the crap out of this truck, and this thing has just been rock solid. Oh yeah, I've also blown a tire, but it's because I made it go way too fast. It was doing 57 miles per hour and still accelerating hard, which was not my intent for this truck. I only ever wanted it to do like 50. That pretty much covers the entire fleet. So based off of that, you can make your own decision. Which one is the worst? Which one is the best, company-wise? I like them all. Yeah, each one has got its own little issues they've had and been addressed, but I don't know. Which ones do you like the best? Comment down below. Tell me which brand is your favorite. It's Dude RC.